The connection between 9/11 and Twilight
What?
is crazy. And I don't think a lot of people talk about it.
What are you talking about?
So, a couple of things happened, right? So...
Tower 1, Tower 2?
So, what was it? 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah. So, I meant to say the connection between 50 Shades of Grey, Twilight, and 9/11 is crazy.
There's more?
Yes. So, 9/11 happens.
Yeah.
What a tragedy. And then...
What a tragedy.
And then Twilight is released.
It's another tragedy.
And then this woman reads Twilight and she goes, wow, that's really profound. That's amazing. This is the best, sexiest relationship I've ever seen. And boy, oh boy, 9/11 was a tragedy. I think I'm going to turn my life around and start writing books. Why was that what she decided to do? Nobody knows. But then she read Twilight and she went, yeah. And so then she made 50 Shades of Grey, which is a fanfic of the Twilight books.
Wait, what do you mean it's fanfic of Twilight books?
She was heavily inspired by Twilight. She was like, she based the relationship of Mr. Grey and whatever the fuck that chick's name is on Bella and Edward in Twilight. And the reason why she started writing in the first place was because 9/11 happened and she was like, life is too short.
That's crazy.
The connection between 9/11 and
50
Twilight.
Shades of Grey came from 9/11 and Twilight.
Yep. Two tragedies. Hey Siri, what's the connection between 50 Shades of Grey, 9/11, and Twilight? The butterfly effect. How 9/11 created 50 Shades of Grey. The boys talked about how either Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey started as a fan fiction, but apparently they don't know that that's the least crazy part of the story. Yes, 50 Shades of Grey did start as a self-insert fan fiction of Twilight. E.L. James was so horny for Edward from Twilight that they wrote a fan fiction about having lots of kinky sex with him. The fan fiction became popular. So popular that they lightly edited it to remove the overt Twilight references and release the story as 50 Shades of Grey. However, Stephanie Myers wrote Twilight after she was inspired by her own crush on Gerald Way from My Chemical Romance. Jesus fuck. It's My Chemical Romance, 9/11, Twilight, and 50 Shades of Grey. They're all connected. This is amazing. Okay, Stephanie thought Gerald was a beautiful vampire man and wrote Twilight with him in mind as Edward and herself in mind as Bella. But that is not the end of this ride. Gerald Way was just some dude living in New York City when the 9/11 attack occurred. To help himself process the trauma and grief of living through that event, he began writing songs and formed the band My Chemical Romance. Therefore, if 9/11 had never occurred, Gerald Way would have never become famous, and the former My Chemical Romance star and Stephanie Myers would have never written her book about having a crush on him, and E.L. James would have never written her book about wanting to have rough sex with Edward. The butterfly effect of 9/11 caused 50 Shades of Grey.
What kind of sex book do you think is going to come out of the Ukraine war?
What am I supposed to say to that?
I don't know.
The best kind, I guess.
The best kind?
What do you want?